Welcome to another episode. In today's episode, we will see a topic: quietness in life. Why silence plays an important part in life, how it plays. So let us start today. Listen in deep silence, be very still, and open your mind. Sink deep into the peace that waits for you beyond the frantic, riotous thoughts and sights and sounds of this insane world. This is a quote from A Course in Miracles. Then we will see Truth is Hidden in Silence by Sri Ulpiano Manlangit. Harmony is the key that opens door to the realm of inner silence. Harmony in the physical plane, harmony in your feelings, and harmony on your thoughts are the essential requirement for achieving true silence. Once you create harmony within yourself, you will be filled with the sense of well-being. As long as your whole being is not attuned and is out of harmony, it is of no use expecting to receive anything from heaven. You will always be deprived of its blessing. Silence, peace, and harmony are simply different expressions of the same reality. You must not think that silence is mute and empty. No, silence is alive, vibrant, and dynamic. It speaks and sings. So next, you will see what Dr. Sidney Savian says about silence. A foggy mind impairs judgment, memory, and our ability to think clearly. Bottom line is, we live in a hectic world which opens the door for unhealthy eating and lifestyle habits, lack of exercise, financial stresses, escalated work demands, and the information overload. This blocks the pathway to bliss and creates an internal stream of fear, stress, hurries, worries, and life land in minds and negatively affects the mind. Quiet the mind and slow down your hectic life. This is his advice. Next, we will see the topic Learning to Sit Alone in a Quiet Empty Room by Leo Babauta. Think about some of the problems of our daily lives. How many of them would be eased if we could learn to sit alone in a quiet empty room with contentment? If you are content to sit alone quietly, you don't need to eat junk food, to shop on impulse, to buy the latest gadget, to be on social media to see what everyone else is talking about or doing, to compare yourself to others, to make more money to keep up with the Joneses, to achieve glory or power, to conquer other lands or wage war, to be rude or violent to others, to be selfish or greedy, to be constantly busy or productive. You are content and need nothing else. It solves a lot of problems. Next is a TEDx talk by Susan Cain. We have a few sentences from a quote. It would be better if you can listen to the whole talk. It is available in YouTube and TEDx site also. This is a TED talk. When it comes to creativity and to leadership, we need introverts doing what they do best. Third to a half of the population are introverts. A third to a half. Introversion is different from being shy. Shyness is about fear of social judgment. Introversion is more about how do you respond to stimulation, including social stimulation. So extroverts really crave large amounts of stimulation, whereas introverts feel at their most alive and their most switched on and their most capable when they are quieter, more low-key environments. Not all the time. These things are not absolute, but a lot of time. So the key then to maximizing our talent is for us all to put ourselves in the zone of stimulation that is right for us. But now here is where the bias comes in. Our most important institutions, our schools and our workplaces They are designed mostly for the extroverts, and for extroverts need a lot of stimulation. And also we have this belief system right now that I call the new groupthink, which holds that creativity and all productivity comes from a very oddly gregarious place. Okay, same thing is true in our workplaces. Now, most of us work in open plan offices without walls, where we are subject to constant noise and gaze of our co-workers. And when it comes to our leadership, introverts are routinely passed over for leadership positions. Even though introverts tend to be very careful, much less likely to take outside risk, which is something we might all favor nowadays. An interesting research by Adam Grant at the Wharton School has found that introverted leaders often deliver better outcomes than extroverts do, because when they are managing proactive employees, they are much more likely to let those employees run with their ideas. Whereas extroverts can quite unwittingly get so excited about things that they are putting their own stamp on the things, and other people's ideas might not as easily then bubble up to the surface. Now, in fact, some of the transformative leaders in the country have been introverts. I'll give you some examples. Eleanor Roosevelt, Rosa Parks, Gandhi, all these people described themselves as quiet and soft-spoken and even shy. And this is because solitude is a crucial ingredient often to creativity. Now, of course, this does not mean that we should all stop collaborating. Then we will see Hinduism point of view. This is a small portion of the whole of Hinduism. The late Swami Nirmalananda of Karnataka had served the Army Postal Service in Europe during World War II. He later held various government posts in India. He traveled the globe and studied well the world's religions and philosophies. In the end, his burning search for truth culminated in silence. If you desire to live in peace, he said, hear all that falls on your ears. See all that appears before your eyes. Realize that everything is in accordance with an eternal law of nature, and be silent. He did not speak for 11 years, and therefore spoke sparingly when he did. It was with clarity and conviction. Wisdom to me is not a set of words, but freshness and emptiness of the mind. Empty the mind by self-observation, self-awareness, and inner attention. Thus make the mind shine like a mirror. Then nothing is seen or known but the limitless radiance of eternity. This is a wonderful source of ever-renewed joy and inspiration beyond words. This is a quote from Prema Pandurang of Swami Nirmalananda. Then we will see about J.Krishnamurti's views. Contentment is not the contentment which is produced by system of thought, but it is that contentment which comes with the understanding of what is. That contentment is not the product of the mind which is disturbed, agitated, incomplete. When it is seeking peace, when it is seeking away from what it is, and so the mind, through justification, comparison, judgment, tries to alter what is, and thereby hopes to arrive at a state when it will not be disturbed, when it will be peaceful, when there will be quietness. And when the mind is disturbed by social conditions, by poverty, starvation, degradation, by the appalling misery, seeing all that, it wants to alter it. It gets entangled in the way of altering, in the system of altering. But if the mind is capable of looking at what is without comparison, without judgment, without the desire to alter it into something else, then you will see that there comes a kind of contentment which is not of the mind. The contentment which is the product of the mind is an escape, is sterile, it is dead. But there is contentment which is not of the mind, which comes into being when there is understanding of what is, in which there is profound revolution which affects the society and in individual relationship. This is from Book of Life. Then there is another quote. Truth is not to be had through books, through devotion, or through self-immolation, but it is known when the mind is free, quiet, And that freedom, that quietness of the mind comes only when the facts of its relationships are understood, without understanding its relationships. Whatever it does only creates further problems. But when the mind is free from all its projections, there is state of quietness in which problems cease. And then only the timeless, the eternal comes into being. This is from Collected Works, Volume 6. So with this, we will end this episode. We must have understood the importance of silence, quietness, and finally the harmony which it brings. That is the source of everything. That is the wisdom. That is the ultimate truth. So we have understood what is important. Silence is so much important in our life. With this, we will end this episode. Subscribe to my channel. We will meet in another episode. Thank you.